It's Ash from SuperVideos back for another live stream Q&A. This is going to be Q&A number 150. So let's jump right into the questions. I see there's there's already some questions on the chat. So let's get right into them. Ronnie Thomas, hey Ash, hey, how are you? Glad you could join. Noah Jinx 75, hey Ash, how's your Sunday going? My Sunday's going pretty well. How about yourself? Ronnie Thomas, my first question is, how will Negan be able to convince Michonne to let him walk out the street of Alexandria? I don't think Negan is necessarily going to convince Michonne to do that. I think it'll be a combination of others talking in Michonne's ears a little bit, and also maybe Negan finding an opportunity to make things happen for himself. I don't think Michonne is necessarily going to be convinced to just let Negan go. Noah Jinx 75. Is it a little too early to be making death predictions for season 10? I already have a few characters in mind who I think will die in season 10. Yeah, it's a little too early. I will do a death prediction probably around the time Fear the Walking Dead returns, around June. Yeah, around June, July. I'll do the death predictions for The Walking Dead. For Fear the Walking Dead, I will be doing a death predictions soon. For season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead, though. Ronnie Thomas, do you think if Abraham was alive, how would he handle or have played out the Whisper War? That's an interesting question. I think if Abraham was alive, when it comes to the Whispers, I think he would pretty much be open to staying away from them. But at the same time, he would not want to just sit or kneel in front of them when they killed like 10 of their people. So I think he would be a bit more resistant to war right off the bat. But when we have the big Pike scene, I don't think Abraham would necessarily just sit back. I think if he finds that maybe no conflict would mean less people getting hurt, maybe that'll push him to want to, stay put for the time being. But I don't think Abraham was the type of character that would just kneel. But at the same time, like I said, if he sees that if they stay away from the Whisperers, no one's going to get hurt or die, then Abraham would probably want to go that route. Noah Jinx 75, do you think, Noah Jinx 75, I think it's a safe bet to say that Alpha and Beta will die in season 10. Not really much of a spoiler about their death, but it's a matter of when they will die. It's a matter of when they die and who's going to kill them. Yeah, it's not a spoiler that they're going to die. I think with The Walking Dead, all villains die, with Negan being an exception. I've said that over and over again. So yeah, you're right. It's not a spoiler that they're going to die. The big question is who's going to kill them and when are they going to die in season 10. Ronnie Thomas, do you think Siddiq might die in season 10? It's possible, yes. It's possible. But I think him being the doctor and there being no other doctor, he's probably safe. Because think about it. Enid was the other doctor that died. So at the moment, Siddiq's the only doctor they have at Hilltop. At least. So that alone leads me to think that he's probably safe. Noah Jinx 75. Q&A, do you think the Whisperers will kill any more people from Hilltop? I think writers should have the Whisperers kill more from Alexandria, Kingdom, and Oceanside. Hilltop has already lost enough. I think we will see like a couple more people die at Hilltop, but I think, yes, you're right. They killed a lot of people from Hilltop already. Most likely they're gonna have most of the fatalities be from Alexandria and Kingdom and Oceanside. Ronnie Thomas, how did you learn about The Walking Dead and why? Yes. And why do you think or do you like the show? How did I learn about it? Well, I was just watching TV. And I found The Walking Dead. Also, actually, my parents were watching it. That's what got me into it. But season 4 is when I started. really getting into it and watching live episodes. And why do I like it? Probably characters. One sec, guys. All right. Where were we? Ronnie Thomas, how do you think Glenn react if he see the whispers? How would Glenn react with the whispers? I think he would be more hesitant to even create any conflict. You know, not that he's weak or anything, but he would probably wanna, you know, stay away from conflict as much as possible with any new villain, not just the whispers. I think it was just that type of character. He would try to make more peace with people than try to go to war with people or to get into conflict with them, even if he doesn't start the conflict. So, yeah, I think I would definitely see Glenn acting like, let me see, like Eren when it comes to the Whisperers. I think I see a lot of similarities between those two characters in terms of their personality. Noah Jink 75. Q&A, if Alpha's death plays out exactly like comics, then will Lydia put her mother down, or will Alpha's reanimated head still be around like in the comics? Depends how they want to do it. If they want to go for a more visually and character driven and, you know, iconic scene, they will definitely go for, and if they want to add to the emotion, they would go with Lydia having to put her mother down, the reanimated mother. But if they're gonna go exactly like the comics, I think that takes away from it. Doing that will be a sort of a big remix. Even though the first part is the same, the second part, I think that would still be a big remix. It's great to kind of have that visual in the comics, or it was great to see that visual, and that's what added to it. Unless they do it after, like after the whole thing happens and it's done, then yeah, they could add that in there. But at the same time, I think if they're gonna follow the comics, then they can't necessarily make that work with what you just explained. Noah Jink 75. Something I forgot to say about 915 was that I loved Samantha Morton portraying Alpha getting emotional after being stood up by her daughter. Absolutely. And that just goes to show the multi-dimensional levels of Alpha's character. And Samantha Morton's range, playing all of these different layers. So I absolutely loved that as well. Ronnie Thomas, do you think Ezekiel might take the role of Eugene since the radio was with him? No, I think Eugene is probably taking that role. Ezekiel could be a part of that, but I think for the most part, it'll be Eugene. Noah Jink 75. It's a little tricky to shed some tears without turning into a sobbing mess. So I'm very impressed by Samantha Morton's portrayal of Alpha getting emotional. Absolutely. And it's a fine line between making it like she's just losing it and making it like, yeah, she's emotional, but at the same time, she knows what she's doing. She can handle herself. She can pull herself back. And I think she did a great job making it realistic and giving us that sort of both, you know? I love that. Ronnie Thomas, how many walkers are left for you? How many walkers are left? You mean how many walkers are left in the universe? I don't know. Probably a lot still. You saw the mega herd Alpha had, right? I know there were some whisperers with them, but that was a lot of walkers. So probably a whole lot of walkers left. Ronnie Thomas, if Daryl kills Beta in 913, what would have changed? Oh, if he killed him? I think Alpha would have been more furious. And it would have been a bigger Pike scene than what we saw. And I don't think Alpha would have necessarily just left them alone after that even. She would have continued to come for them. Voltex33, hi Ash, hi, how are you? Glad you could join. Let me see, why is the camera being weird? I don't know if it's just on my end, but let me see if that helps. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. The focus was just not on me for some reason. Nova Jinx 75. Speaking of Samantha Morton, she hasn't been at any of the recent Walker Stalker cons. Maybe it's not her thing, but I feel like she should be at one of these events because she plays an iconic villain. Yeah. I didn't know that she didn't go to any, but yeah, I think it makes more sense. But the thing is, maybe, like you say, it's not her thing. So we can't really blame her. But for fans, she should at least go to one. I agree with that. Voltex33, what if Dr. Phil was in The Walking Dead? LOL. Then he would probably not survive. Dr. Phil is not a survivor. Ronnie Thomas, in the apocalypse, I mean. Ronnie Thomas, why Alpha is interested with Daryl? I don't think there's any interest there. I think they just both respect each other to an extent. That's all it is. Voltex33, I think Ozzy and Abraham would get along. Shame they didn't meet. Yeah, Ozzy and Abraham would have hit it off pretty well, I feel. Noah Jink 75, Ryan Hurst has appeared at many conventions regarding The Walking Dead, so I'm just a little shocked that Samantha Morton hasn't been at any, but I don't know what her life is like, LOL. Yeah, and she might be busy as well. We don't know what her schedule is like as well. Ronnie Thomas, and also imagine Alpha shot Daryl in the leg and he feel in the herd. How you react? Oh, he fell into the herd? Oh, you mean when we got the mega herd reveal? Mega herd reveal, there we go. That would have sucked. I'm pretty sure there would have been lots of fans that would have screamed. And again, if they do that and have Daryl make it out alive, that's just BS. Because there's no way he's going to survive that. I'm glad they didn't, because I don't think it's time for Daryl to die at the moment. No Watching 75. Then again, there's about 6 months until season 10 airs, so she has a lot of time to get out there. People want to see Alpha, lol. Yeah, I think she still has time, but it would be great for her to be at a few of those. Voltex33, how do you think the Commonwealth will play out? Will many people die? In the comic book, I think there's definitely going to be some sort of battle, for sure. But I don't think it's a full-scale battle like we think. I think there's going to be a skirmish. Some people might die. I think maybe background characters. But I think both Governor Milton and Rick will come to a sort of peace stance or treaty or something like that. And they will stop the war or the battle that they're in. But I feel like it's going to be just a matter of time before it's really a large-scale war that's going to kick off. Ronnie Thomas, how do you think about the war that's about to happen in the next issue of The Walking Dead? Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be a skirmish. It's not going to be a big war yet. And both Governor Milton and Rick will find a way to go to be or have a peace treaty of some sort. But like I said, it's going to be a matter of time before they're going to be at each other's throats. There's going to be a war coming up. But I don't think this is the war. I think when we get closer to issue 200, that's going to be when the big war is going to happen. Or when the big war is going to happen. NoMagic75, Q&A, how many shotgun shells do you think Alpha has? I feel like she has only 2 shells. She can have in her shotgun. Yeah, I think so. I don't think she has a lot of bullets in general, or whispers in general. Ronnie Thomas, do you think Michonne might die in the next issue? No, I think Michonne is safe. I think Michonne is safe. Her daughter, though, Elodie, I don't think so. But I think Michonne is pretty much safe at this point, for now. Maybe in the next couple issues, yes. But in the next issue, I think she's safe. They haven't really set up anything for Michonne to die anyway. Voltex33, what if Governor Milton met the Saviors before Rick showed up? That's a great question. I think the Saviors would have right away realized, or Negan would have realized that... Wait, you said Saviors, right? Yeah, Saviors. Yeah, I think Negan would have realized right away that he can't mess with this group. There's just too many of them. And he would have tried to not work with Governor Milton, but he would have tried to make it seem like he's, obedient, but take her down as soon as he could. Much like what he did with Alpha and the Whispers. Giuseppe De Rosa, yo Ash, how are you? Glad you could join. Giuseppe De Rosa, how would the Commonwealth deal with the Saviors? Yeah, I just answered that. I said how Saviors would react to Commonwealth, but how would the Commonwealth react to the Saviors? I think much like what they did with Rick. I don't think that would have been that different. Maybe seeing how aggressive they are, they would have probably wanted to make them fall in line right away and be obedient. And they wouldn't be as chill as they are with Rick and the group. Noah Jink 75. I'm going to be sad when the Whisperers arc is over because they're my favorite villains. And in my opinion, it would be so awesome if there was a Whisperer tribe war. Different tribes of Whisperers. Yeah, to go to your first question, yeah, I think after the Whisperers, it's going to be a moment where if they don't do a huge remix of the comics, it's going to feel underwhelming for sure. But in terms of a tribe Whisper war or a different tribes of Whisperers war, I think it's too much. It's too much. And I don't think it would necessarily work for the TV show. Because it would be people that we don't really know and care about. Would we really want to see a whole arc of them going to war? I don't think so. Ronnie Thomas, how do you think Shane would have reacted to the Whispers? Shane would have... I think he would have been more aggressive than Rick was in the comics or even in the TV show Michonne and the others. But I think after the Pikes, he would have stepped back a little bit and recalculated his strategy. He would have still gone for them, but he would have done more of planning than just jumping into a battle with them right away. Noah Jink 75. Q&A, do you prefer comic Michonne or TV Michonne? I prefer TV Michonne because comic Michonne has done some questionable things. Yeah, I prefer comic Michonne at the beginning, but now I prefer TV show Michonne. Noah Jink 75. What I didn't like in the comic Michonne was when she slapped Ezekiel because she was crying over the loss of Shiva. She then called Ezekiel pussy like WTF. He just lost his pet tiger, so chill Michonne. Yeah, I think after her introduction in the comics, Michonne did some weird things. So yeah, after her immediate introduction. But yeah, I prefer the TV show Michonne for the most part. Ronnie Thomas, do you think Shane was right all along or was he crazy? I think a bit of both. He was crazy, but he was a little bit ahead of his time as well in terms of adapting to the new world. But he was still crazy a little bit. Giuseppe De Rosa. Shane has good points, but he was too involved with Lori. Yeah, that too. NovaJink75. An Alpha Carol showdown has to happen because they've been setting it up. Absolutely. And it's just one of the things where, at this point, I would almost prefer Carol and Alpha rather than Alpha and Negan. I think the way it happened in the comics worked, but with the way things are in the TV show right now, I think Carol Alpha might work better than Alpha Negan. Ronnie Thomas, do you think Carol is overrated? Absolutely not. Queen Carol is never underrated. She's my favorite character right now that's alive in the show. NovaJink75. As of right now, Daryl is the only one who has had any real conversation with Alpha and Beta. Let Carol, Michonne, or Negan interact with them. I think there should be interactions between the different characters, like you said, with Alpha, but that ultimate scene at the end needs to be with Carol, I feel, at this point. Ronnie Thomas. Who so love to see who Meryl and Shane fight in All Out War. Yeah, Shane and Meryl would have been insane to see. In general, not just in a war, but in general. Coldplay. Well, we get to see Carol and Negan interact in season 10. I hope so. And not just that, but Negan and Alpha as well. And Carol and Alpha. Giuseppe De Rosa, Morgan is like Michael Myers. I could kind of see that. Yeah. But Morgan, when he's crazy, cray Morgan is a lot like Michael Myers. The normal Morgan is not like Michael Myers, really. Great question from Ronnie Thomas. How do you think Daryl would react when he learns Negan saved Dog? I would love to see that. I don't think we will, but I would love to see it. Probably confused, surprised, disappointed a little bit, and angry. I think all of those emotions would run through his head. NovaJink75. Q&A, which of the newer characters introduced in Season 9 do you think will get a character portrait in Season 10? Magnet's group, for sure. And probably Alpha and Beta and Alpha, both. But yeah, probably that. Probably just them. And from Magnet's group, if they don't do everyone, I feel maybe Connie, Yumiko, and Connie, Yumiko, and Magna, probably. Or just Magna, maybe. Or all of them together in one portrait shot. Giuseppe De Rosa, Maggie's returning in Season 10. It was rumored that she's not coming back, so I don't know. I haven't seen an official news article saying one way or the other, so I just don't know. Ronnie Thomas, Do you think Daryl might give Lucille back to Negan? Absolutely not. I think he would rather die first than have to give Negan Lucille again. Even though Negan has changed. Lucille just has a bad connection to Negan and to Daryl. Like his memory, like Daryl's memory and stuff. Coldplay. How will Morgan react to Henry's death? The Whisperers. Henry's death, probably he might even lose it and go a little bit crazy, like with his own son's death. But I think with the Whisperers, again, he would go crazy probably and try to take them out after what happened to Henry. Before that, I would say he would try to keep the peace, like he always does. But when it comes to it, he wouldn't hesitate to kill the Whisperers. Noah Jink 75. I think Alpha, Beta, and Lydia will for sure get season 10 portraits. Yeah, I forgot Lydia, absolutely. And then I think Magna's group, Magna, Yumiko, and Connie will get season 10 portraits. I think either all of Magna's group together, or if they're doing individually, if they're not going to do all of them individually, then probably Connie, Yumiko, and Magna, like you said. Yeah, I agree with that. Giuseppe De Rosa, Morgan's Padawan Henry. LOL. I don't know what that is. Should I? Ronnie Thomas, Henry has to die. Sorry, but his death has meaning. I think he was a wasted death. I feel like I understand it. It works for the most part, but I think they wasted that death and that character a little bit. Noah Tink 75. Magna, Yumiko, and Connie has gotten the most screen time from their group, so it would make sense for them to get season 10 portraits. But I can see one big portrait of Magna's group, like you said. Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly why I picked those. The reason is exactly what you said. They got the most screen time. Ronnie Thomas, I mean his death will allow for Carol to become badass. Yes, that's the only great thing that Henry's death has. The only great thing. And also, actually not the only. There's 3 great things that come from Henry's death. To see Carol become a badass again. To have the storyline between Carol and Lydia. And to have a potential satisfying showdown between Carol and Alpha. Those are the only 3 great things that come out of it. Nova Jinx 75, Ezekiel's death would have had much of a bigger impact than Henry's death, and that's just a fact. Ezekiel hosted the fair and was the king, so his death would have been a great catalyst for coming together. Absolutely. And one of the key reasons why I was disappointed with the selections of the deaths for the Pikes was we didn't have that huge death that made a lot of sense, you know? We didn't. Henry, depends on how you look at it, but to me, it's just a preference maybe, but I don't think Henry replacing Ezekiel's death made sense or worked. It's just me. Giuseppe De Rosa, what if in the end Daryl is the last character standing? At this point I could see that. Maybe Carol and Daryl together. Giuseppe De Rosa, like Beth said. Yeah, like I said, it could. And Carl. Or Carl, I mean. Nova Jake 75, also killing Henry is more repetition for Carol's story. Absolutely. It feels like recycled material, just a little bit. I agree with that. Ronnie, or Nova Jake 75. I am liking the Carol-Lydia dynamic more than the Daryl-Lydia dynamic. It just makes more sense with Carol. Absolutely. I think there's a possibility that they could do so much with that dynamic and that story. And I'm very much looking forward to that in season 10. Ronnie Thomas. Also, Henry is a kid, so his death was shocking, and also no one was expecting that. Yeah, absolutely. That's one part of it for sure. But I feel like it was a little overkill doing both teens at Hilltop, Enid, who's literally a teen, and Henry, who's a teen as well. I think having 10 deaths and 4 of them are teens, just, I don't know, there's something weird about that. There's something that doesn't really make sense in terms of bringing the comic version to life. Epic Zombie Killer. Kiona Hayash, do you think we'll see new characters in season 10? Not for the first half. I don't think so. For the first half, I don't think we'll see any new characters. Second half, yes. Not first half. First half, if we see new characters, it'll probably be characters that are just soldiers from the communities, and they're not big characters, they're just background characters, or Whisperers. Any Whisperers. Maybe background and main Whisperers. Noah Jink 75. But Henry is not that big character death that the Pikes needed in order to impact everyone. Absolutely. Henry didn't get a lot of screen time until season 9 when they aged him up to a teenager. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. Coldplay. DJ and Ozzy died heroes. Yeah, absolutely. The only great thing that I loved was Siddiq's story and what they did with making the characters go as heroes. That was my favorite part of that scene in its entirety. And the reaction from Carol, obviously, as well. Ronnie Thomas, did a person tell you you look like Siddiq? Yeah, I get that a lot. A lot. Noah Jink 75. Enid was like 25, so she was a young woman, lol. I think in the show, she was probably around 21, 22. Not 25. In real life, she is probably 25, but in real life, or in the show, I think she was around 21, 22. Yeah, she's a young woman. Yeah, I could see that. But has that the same impact? A young woman, a teen, for young people or young teens? Yeah. All right, we're 35 minutes in. We'll go for 5 more minutes, and that'll be the end of the stream here. It was a great stream so far. Voltex 33, how would Abraham react to the Whisperers? I talked about that a little bit early on. He would have wanted to take them out, but after the Pikes, he would be more hesitant to go to war. He would be open to it, but he would be a little more hesitant. Noah Jink 75. I feel like Rosita might be a long-term survivor now since she survived the Pikes. With her belly getting bigger now, I don't think the writers will kill off a pregnant woman with a belly showing. Yeah, Rosita's probably safe for the time being. At least for season 10. Ronnie Thomas, do you think Michonne might leave with RJ? No, it doesn't make sense. RJ is safe in the community. She doesn't know what she could expect outside. So I don't think it makes sense for her to take RJ with her. Voltex 33. Gimple hinted that Rick's story will be somehow connected to Fear the Walking Dead Season 5. How do you feel about that? Mixed feelings, but in general disappointed. Because Fear has just turned into a show that is like it's like a playground for writers. You know what I mean? It's turned into that type of show. So because of that, I'm disappointed. But it's intriguing. It's intriguing. It's interesting. But I'm disappointed because I feel like I said, Fear the Walking Dead has turned into a playground for writers of The Walking Dead. Noah Jing 75. If they are going to kill off Eugene from the love triangle, I think it might be Gabriel instead of Rosita, since none of them were killed on the Pikes. Yeah, I think one of the people in the love triangle, or between Siddiq, Eugene, Gabriel, and Rosita, is gonna die. I think next season for sure. I think most likely Gabriel. Did I say Ezekiel? I meant Gabriel. I think Gabriel is more likely to die. Coldplay. How would Rick react to the whispers? I think much like Michonne. I honestly don't see Rick acting any different than Michonne acted when it comes to the whispers. Maybe Rick would have been a little bit more cautious than Michonne, but overall, I don't think there would have been any difference there. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A hash. What was it that made you hate Fear the Walking Dead? Constantly killing main characters that are undeveloped or have a chance of being developed even further. The story not really going anywhere. Having a lot of fillers. Stupid villains. Taking a lot of comic stories or iconic comic scenes from The Walking Dead's original show, making them have to change it on The Walking Dead's original show or remix it a little bit. Constantly early on, constantly using the blood trick, you know, that, and also that's pretty much it. And the whole grainy look that Fear has, I don't like that. The whole grainy, kind of grayish look, I don't really like that. Novajink 75. Rick being connected to Fear doesn't make sense because the timeline in Fear is not caught up to The Walking Dead's current timeline. Absolutely. That's a great point. I hope they don't mess it up. Mess it up. Voltex 33. What if Scott Gimple was in The Walking Dead? I would love to see Scott Gimple as a zombie. That would have been cool. Ronnie Thomas, do you think Rosita might survive season 12? You mean season 10? Yeah, season 10 she might. I don't know about season 12. Epic Zombie Killer. Q&A. Hey Ash, out of Eugene and Rosita, who will die out of the two? If one is gonna die, probably Rosita. Novajink75. I don't think Gabriel will die in season 10, but won't get his comic death. I think a background character will get Gabriel's comic death, even though Seth Gilliam wants Gabriel's comic death to play out exactly. Yeah, I think it'll probably be given to someone else. But again, I still think Gabriel might die in season 10. Novajink75. Q&A. Do you think Andrea's comic death will be brought to life in season 10? I think it's too iconic to pass up. Obviously Andrea's death, but it's a matter of who will get that death if it's to be played out. I think it will be remixed, but I feel like Ezekiel is probably going to get that. I feel. Animated Alex, sup? What's up? How are you? Glad you could join. Novajink75. Oh, retracted the message. Okay. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I'll go for another question, just a final question, and that'll be the end of the stream. Thank you everyone for joining and asking questions. Let's go for one more. Get your final question in quick, whoever it's going to be. Novajink75. The Whispers are cleaning house and will clean the house even more in season 10 with the Whisperer War. Yeah, I feel like that's coming. Ronnie Thomas. It was confirmed Rick will survive the movie, So do you think Rick will be the last man standing? I hope so. I really hope so. I think that's the thing that makes the most sense. Coldplay, do you think Ezekiel will get Carol's comic death? No. I think Ezekiel is going to get Andrea's comic death. Alright, thanks everyone. Thank you for asking questions and joining the chat and supporting the channel in general. I appreciate it. I will see you guys very soon.